My name is Dawn Hughes, and I'm the new Booktrib Book Club Coordinator. We're here today with author Susannah Marren to talk about her new book, Maribelle's Shadow, a compelling story of deception and family loyalty. It sounds fantastic. Maribelle's Shadow is one of the books taking part in Booktrib's Book Club program for July. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes out of your schedule to answer a few questions, Susannah.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here, Dawn.
Excellent. Let's take a look at the cover. Let's take a peek at that cover. Fantastic. That's very compelling. It's exciting. I'd love for you to tell us, readers are going to be able to go online and check out more about the book, but I'd love for you to tell us a little about the book that we wouldn't read on the jacket cover. No spoilers, obviously.
This is the story of three adult sisters and their mother, and the risks they take to survive, even though they're in a very privileged society in Palm Beach, Florida. Their background is slightly shady, but no spoiler here. And so what is the weight of the secrets? And that's something that you don't really see on the book jacket, but as you read the book, you realize what favoritism in a family means, what a family system is, among several sisters, three sisters, and how much psychic heaviness we carry when we are lying and betraying at the same time. We're loyal. So it's really a very complex situation.
Right. That sounds fascinating. You're right. That's not conveyed. It's hard to convey that on the book jacket cover. So it's
that you can, but the jacket does tell, the story of, again, no spoiler here, but within the first few pages, first chapter, we learn that Maribelle's husband has drowned and what really happened. And so the story unfolds in terms of the three sisters' point of view about what actually happened to Samuel and who was Samuel.
Fantastic. I'm hooked already. What would you say is the most fascinating or surprising thing you learned while researching or writing the book? I'm not sure how in-depth research you had to do, but was there something that you learned or surprised you as you were writing the book or researching it?
Well, my background is being a professor, a gender professor for over 20 years. And so I'm always looking at how women and men are positioned in society and always really rooting for the women. So we live in a patriarchal culture, and my research for my nonfiction books, where I've written a book on mothers and daughters and sisters and mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law and women as friends, toxic friends, women as rivals. So I'm really looking at what women do, even if we're so lucky as to live in a place like Palm Beach, which in a strange way, the higher you rise, the harder you fall. What are the judgments? Why do women have to lie? Why do they have to keep secrets? Why do they navigate a path in such a complicated way? And it's really because we live in a patriarchal culture. So while this is, as some people are telling me, a very fast read, it's also really reflecting my nonfiction research on how women really feel versus the faces that they wear.
Such a timely and important topic as well. So good job addressing it in fiction. It's important, because I think that's how sometimes we learn, right?
Yes. And the other part of it that really mattered to me is that it's a multi-generational story. Right. So we have these sisters, one's Raleigh, the youngest sister, is in her 20s. And then Maribelle and the other sister, Caroline, are in their 30s. Their mother, who was a very young mother, is in her late 50s. And I'm looking at what it means to women in terms of ageism and what is longing for women. And so once this mystery unfolds, we have to look at everyone's motivation. And I'm very interested in how women are motivated.
Sounds like perfect topics for a book club. Can you tell us a little bit about why you think this book is such a great book club selection?
It has been described, as my previous fiction, as dramatic women's fiction. And I feel, as a great devotee of women's fiction, commercial women's fiction, literary women's fiction, women's stories, I feel that this really satisfies what book clubs are looking for, women's groups, because we can relate to each of the characters' journey. The journeys really resonate for us, and we're looking at these women as daughters, sisters, wives. You know, the role of wife. I've written 3 nonfictions on the fiction books on the role of wife. So what do we do to make that smooth sailing?
Fantastic. You've mentioned a couple of nonfiction books that you've written, but I just want to, if you're okay with it, just let readers know you write those under a different name. Where could they find those books? What would they look up?
So for my nonfiction, with my gender cap on, I write the books under my real name, which, by the way, is not half as, to me, appealing as my pen name. And my real name is Susan Shapiro Barish.
Okay.
And for Maribelle's Shadow and the Palm Beach novels, A Palm Beach Wife and A Palm Beach Scandal and Between the Tides, I got to have a very beautiful name, and that is Susannah Marren.
Love that. A little bit, I know it's a little bit off topic, but we're always curious to know what our writers are reading. What's the best book that you've read in the last year?
In the last year, I read a lot of books, always. I know some writers don't like to read while they're writing. I'm always writing, I'm always reading. Admire so many women writers. A book that I reread this year that really spoke to me is The Custom of the Country by Edith Wharton.
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah, and it just really reminds us of how insightful she is about how women, again, how women even in the 1800s, and of course back then, we hope things have improved, we believe they've improved, how women are positioned in society, what it takes to prevail, what does it take to get what you want as a female.
Fantastic. Another book for our readers to add to their TBR once they've finished reading your book. I do have to wrap this up because we're out of time, but I want to thank you again for taking time to talk to us. And for more information about Susannah's book or Susan's books, please check out the book club page on the booktrib.com website. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, John.